There's this hilarious post on Facebook right now about how John Boyega wants to date only black women, which, black love, hell yeah. But, like, white women are fucking having a field day. They're commenting things like, well, I only date musicians. Or, like, who are you? Like, trying to pretend like they don't know who he is. And then later commenting that they do know who that is. They just don't watch his movies. Or, like, this one woman was like, I don't date men in turtlenecks or purple shirts.
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl maybe Leah. So today we are discussing something I find quite interesting. The actor John Boyega has recently been in the news for good and bad. Recently, the movie dropped called The Woman King, and another movie. I'm going to put the name of the movie on the screen. So he's been receiving a lot of publicity, and then this one seems to even take the cake right now. Like, what people are talking about was a statement he made during an interview when he was on the Breakfast Club about a little over a week ago, where he basically stated his preference in dating, where he said he only dates black women. And it's been in the news because there's been a lot of backlash. People have been calling him the Ray to the cyst, and I am in shock. I cannot believe the kind of reaction. I do not understand why it is a big deal what he said. And I'm just going to go ahead and play the actual video right now.
But you married?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
All right, Charlamagne.
I've been with the same woman for 24 years.
I think that's fantastic. She black?
Yes, sir. Hell yeah.
Is she black?
I absolutely
No, because I've heard you speak.
disagree.
I've heard you speak before about your blackness and stuff. So I thought you was one of the ones that were gonna sacrifice your loins to continue in this race. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just check in. Well, yeah, he said that shit, didn't he? He said it. So I'm like,
explain that now. What happened?
No, you speak about your blackness quite a lot, and,
yes.
and then obviously I've seen your interview. So I'm like, let me just check that.
Make sure he's.
Oh yeah, exactly. No, that's real though.
Yeah.
I judge brothers like that too.
I'm not judging. I mean, anyone can do what they need to do, but I feel like when you speak in a certain way,
black men got to be with black women.
Yeah. When you spoken in that way,
yes.
I'm like, let me just check my man. My man's devoted at home.
I'm with you. People that talk so black, but then they sleep white, I'm like, ugh.
Well, have you ever dated a white woman?
Yeah, I have once. I dated one once. How did that go? When I was younger. Yeah, it was alright, but we were just chilling. You know what I mean? It wasn't nothing serious like that. So I've said it openly. It's just a preference. Like I like my women black. You know, and I feel just separate from a political statement or anything like that. It's just they fine as hell. They melanin levels got to be over 75%. You know what I mean? Thickness got to be there. Style got to be there. We got to laugh at the same jokes. We got to bump to the same music. It's just got to be a flow.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm trying to have them conversations where I can talk my shit behind closed doors. Like, yes. I'm trying to say, woman, I don't. And she's like, yeah, baby, yeah, you right. That's what I need. You know what I mean? I need her to understand a black man's anger, frustration. I need her to understand when certain dudes walk into the room and the energy ain't right, and she's just like, calm down, baby, chill. I need that. I need me a black
queen,
woman.
Man. I'm with you, kid.
From the video you guys just watched, you can see that he asked Charlamagne if he was married because he was curious to know if he was married and if he was married to a black woman. And he stated why he wanted to know, because he was like, there was a certain way Charlamagne spoke about his blackness. People that are very uprightly and unashamedly, unapologetically black. So he wanted to know if you're that kind of person, you talk black, and then do you sleep black too? Are you so passionate about being black, talking about black issues and stuff like that, and then you're not married to a black person? So he had that curiosity about Charlamagne. So that was why he asked if his wife was black. And Charlamagne said, sure, I've been married for over 20 years to my wife, and she's black. She's a black queen. And then, they laughed about it. And that was what actually started the discussion about his dating preference. So he actually was asked if he had dated a white girl before, and he said yes. So I believe that goes to prove a point. If he has dated one before, that goes to show one of two things. Number one, that he's not Ray to the cyst. He has dated one of them before, right? And number two, that he probably tried that and decided, nah, that's not the thing for me. Let me just go for what I'll be more comfortable with, what I'm familiar with, because I'm Black. I grew up with Black women. I grew up around Black culture. That's what I'm familiar with. That's what I'm comfortable with. It probably even made him appreciate being with a Black woman more after he had been with someone that was non-Black. You understand? So those are two things him stating that he had been with a white girl proved, in my opinion. The second thing I observed from that conversation was after he asked Charlamagne about his marriage status and confirmed that, okay, Charlamagne was married to a Black woman. When the conversation went on, he stated that he doesn't judge anyone who wants to be with whichever kind of person, whichever race, whoever they want to be with. Anyone can be with who they want to be with. But he stated specifically, but when you speak a certain way, is kind of expected. For instance, if you speak, pro-Black, you talk about, you're unapologetically Black, you want to see Black people do well, you're passionate about Black issues and stuff like that, you're vocal, you put yourself out there as someone that is unashamedly Black, involved in the whole Black social consciousness and stuff like that, you kind of present yourself in a way where you're going to be held to that standard. It would be a shock if you end up, not being married to a Black person. I'm not saying there's anything bad about it. I'm just saying people might side-eye you, which I think is kind of understandable. But I'm not saying that being pro-Black means you should be raised to the cyst or you cannot fall in love with someone outside your race. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it will not be shocking that people would expect you to marry a Black person if you are that sort of person. So that was what John Boyega said, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Then the third thing that John Boyega said that I want to highlight was he went ahead to talk about the reasons why he likes Black queens, why he wants to be with a Black queen. And he talked about the melanin level being about over 70-something%. I think he's just talking about basically how dark he likes his women. So from what he said, I think he really likes the dark-skinned Black women. Hi, John Boyega. I'm dark-skinned. Okay, so, he stated that, and he talked about how Black women are beautiful. He appreciates the beauty of Black women. He sees us as beautiful. He talked about the thickness. One thing you guys need to know about my Nigerians, I'm Nigerian, by the way, is that we appreciate the curves. We appreciate you being thick. We appreciate all of that. We appreciate the booty, the boobies. We appreciate that African body, the African curves. So he is a Nigerian. He's Nigerian British, but he's Nigerian to the core. He is as Nigerian as they get. That's one thing I love about him. He reps his Nigerian culture and all of that. Okay, let me not deviate. So he appreciates the thickness of the Black women. He talked about style as well. He talked about them laughing at the same jokes. And you guys, that is so important. Imagine being with someone where you had to explain the jokes because they don't understand because of maybe their background, or they don't have the same level of exposure. They've had a different experience in life other than you. So they don't really understand the joke. That's to say the least, because jokes are not the only thing they would not understand because they're basically different from you. Different values, different culture, different experience, which makes sense. Then he talked about music. You gotta love the same music. You gotta listen to the same music. And I totally understand. I get it. So everything he's basically said is cultural familiarity. He said he wants a woman that understands when he walks into a room and the energy is different, and she can understand, she can perceive the same thing that he does because she's probably going to get the same energy from the same people. The experience of different races is totally different in different parts of the world, wherever you find yourself. Traveling as a white person is different than traveling as a Black person. The way you're treated in different parts of the world is different. The way you're treated based on the color of your skin is different. Let's not even sit down here and act like we don't know. So he wants someone that would have similar experience, or who has had similar experience to him, who can understand where he's coming from. He wouldn't even have to say much. So I definitely understand why he wants to be with a Black queen. And another thing that I want to point out is I do not understand why him stating his preference for people that look like him, people that look like his mother, people that look like his two sisters, was taken as a personal attack. Because he didn't talk down on nobody. When he even spoke about dating a white girl, he did not say anything negative about her. He didn't say anything negative about the relationship. So I do not understand why it's such a big deal. So he went ahead to tweet this. Obviously, that person is stating about, oh, if I was a white man and I said this, they would say I am Ray to the cis, da, 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 da. Now, it's different for white people because we know that that was how the Ray to the cism started. It all started from you. And really, we don't care if you say you want to date white people. I think what would raise an eyebrow would be when you state that you do not date within your race, you only date outside your race. That is what is going to be unusual. That is what is going to raise an eyebrow. That is what is going to be viewed as self-hate. But if you say you want to date within your race, it's not unusual. People like to stick to what is familiar to them. People like to stick to people that they can relate to. People like to stick to people that will fit into what they already are. For instance, you want to get married. You want to marry someone who has values similar to you. Familiarity is the basis. So for people who try to, turn it around and say, if a white man said this, if a white person will say that, you guys will view it as racism. We're not checking for you guys. Don't bring yourself into this. It's really not about you. He stated his preference. And I like the reply John Boyega gave because it's really true. When he told her that a white person states like, oh, I only date blondes or I only date brunettes and whatever. They're not talking about a wig. You have to be smart to really understand what he was trying to say there. Because when it comes to the wigs, he's talking about our melanated sisters, where the ones who wear the brunette and blonde wigs are all of that. So he's still stating his preference is a white person. So let the man be. You see, black people, this is what we need. We need more people speaking up. We need them to understand that we love our blackness. We're not anti-black. I think why some of these people are pressed, I won't say it's only white people. I'm sure there's some black people too that do not understand why a black man would want to be with a black woman. I think it's really weird. I'm Nigerian, so I never understood when I, started hearing things about how men, especially celebrities, the successful black men, make money and then they do not want to be with black women anymore. They want to be with people outside their race. I thought it was very odd because it doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen over here. You understand? I'm not saying people don't intermarry racially. They do. But it's not a thing where, oh, it must be a white person or it must be an Asian person. People just basically marry. I think it's a breath of fresh air to see a black man who is successful, who is famous, who is popular, who is fine. Talk about wanting to love and marry and build with a woman that looks like him, a woman that looks like his mother. He comes from a black woman. He acknowledged that.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. On this film, melanin levels had to be over 85%. I mean, this is not just black women, it's dark-skinned black women who haven't had the opportunity to do this, being given the main center stage. And for me, that's something special. I came from a black woman. So for me to see a project that highlights black women in this way, but also highlights black women with talent, the actual skills and ability to do this, is something special. And I can only say it's promising for the rest of the industry in the future.
He appreciates the beauty of black women. He appreciates the cultural familiarity. And he will feel safer and more secure. He will feel more understood by a black woman. And I don't understand why it's a big deal. So he actually went ahead to tweet another response. And you can see from the response, he's like, he doesn't understand because he felt like the only time people stating their preference is an issue is when they put down the people that are not their preference in the post, which he did not. He did not. John Boyega was very smart. He chose his words very carefully. He has to be politically correct because unfortunately that's the world we live in. You got to make this money, so you don't want to step on some toes. So he didn't put down nobody. He didn't put down no race, but he stated his preference. And if you all can't deal with it, well, that's y'all's business. Let the man be. Black people, we need to protect this man at all costs. By the way, go and see The Woman King. I plan to go see with my girls. So I'm just going to sign out here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've not done a podcast video before, but I just had to get in on this topic and my filming equipment is nowhere near me. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.